computer.
I already gave one shitty intro to a show today, so I just saved it this week. Welcome, everybody, to the Football Channel. We are here to give you our picks for every game of Week 9. I'm joined with the J and the T in the MJT. Joe, how are you doing today? Are you excited to see the Raiders versus Jaguars?
Yeah, very excited. Why not?
Tony? Are you excited?
I'm excited to see the Jaguars beat up on the Raiders for sure. I love football. That's all that matters. We're getting into the best parts of the season. Lots of buys this week, and more opportunities for me to get back in this thing. Somehow I've miraculously fallen into last place. These two cheaters I got to play with every week.
Whoa.
2 games. And you know what happened last week.
And y'all didn't magically fall into last place. Y'all are in last place solely because of the Las Vegas Raiders, both of you.
I have picked the Raiders way too many times this year.
If you guys got the Raider games right, would you be in first right now?
No, mine's the Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah, that's
and the Lions. It feels like.
Wow, what an idiot!
I'm actually kind of embarrassed thinking about it that I've gotten just about every Raider game and every Lions game on Joe, and I'm only 3 games above.
What up, Steve? It
means you must be smoking me in the rest of the games.
Well, I picked last week. I picked the Jets or the Patriots over the Jets, which is good. I still a couple of good upsets here and there. I just can't brag about them because I don't pick all the upsets.
Yeah, you always have like too many upsets per week. I'm sure you're going to change your philosophy this week, right? You're definitely going to take the Packers over the Lions.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. If you guys want to join in on the challenge and compete along with us, week to week, I hold a competition at my Pickems pool. The link is in my bio. If you're watching the replay or tuned in live and you have not submitted your picks yet, it's easy. Just click that link, sign up your email, and you can pick the winners for each game. The winner of that Pickems challenge this week is actually winning tickets to an NFL game. So you guys want to get in on that, working with Run Your Pool on that. It's been a ton of fun this year. Let's get into it. First game was the Eagles and the Texans. We all land this pick. No surprise. Anything to talk about other than the Eagles just continue to look legit.
It's because we all changed it this morning is what happened. We woke up and we're like, hey, Eagles won. Give me the Eagles.
We all actually wanted the Texans.
I just want to say quickly about this game was that the Texans always do this thing where every couple of weeks they play better than I think that they actually are. And Davis Mills does the same thing. In the first half of that football game, he looked like somebody who could be a franchise quarterback. Somebody you'd feel comfortable giving a bunch of money to and saying like, hey, we'll be okay. Or maybe not giving him the money, but at least saying we're going to build around him. We're not going to go waste another high pick on a quarterback or spend a bunch of money on Carson Wentz's of the world. We're going to let this guy sling it. And then they start heating him up. And it's like, oh, there comes old Davy Mills. Just out there just throwing it to green jerseys. And then the last thing was Dameon Pierce is a top 10 running back in the NFL.
You gave all love to the Texans there. You didn't talk about the Eagles at all, Tony. Who cares about the Eagles?
They're supposed to win this game. Like what?
Fly Eagles fly.
Yeah. What do the Eagles want? They want us to talk about how great they are because they beat up on a team that's 1-6-1 or whatever.
Yeah.
You're not getting any love for that.
We're supposed to give them props because they're in the NFC East and they're running the table.
I mean,
NFC East.
The Eagles are the only team standing in the way of the Dallas Cowboys right now. Imagine the Eagles didn't exist. You guys' lives would be hell at this point in the season.
I don't know who's worse now. Like, Eagle fans are horrible too.
Oh, here we go. You gonna start it with the Eagle fans now too?
You remember Dalton? You haven't watched any of his videos? He's going crazy right now. And the Phillies are in the World Series.
I'm sure the Eagles are taking an L next week. They're on prime time again against the Washington Commanders. There's their loss. Taylor Heineke coming to town to play spoiler.
What? Dang,
Now,
I like you.
in 2 weeks, I do have that's part of a theory that I will be pitching at some point in this show.
Oh, in 2 weeks. Sorry.
Yep.
Pay attention to my picks, by the way, guys. The ones on the graphics. If I made a mistake, just let me know. But here we go. We got the Miami Dolphins on the road against Chicago Bears. And I said, let me know if I made a mistake, Joe, because you're going against Justin Fields at home with how he's been playing lately. You're going with Miami and Tua.
I know, and a lot of people are like, go with the Bears. I can't. Not. I like the Bears, and I like everything they've been doing, and I like the way I even like the way they played against the Dallas Cowboys the other day. It's just that they're still a young team. And they just traded some more people. It's going to take some time, so it's not like they're going to play hard, like we talked about. We talked about how the Bears are going to play hard all year, and they're going to be that thorn in somebody's side. But Miami with Tyreek Hill. And I just saw Tua's press conference where he threw it out there. He goes, I improved on the long ball, right? I improved on the long ball. Like he wanted people to give him credit. Tua, you didn't improve on the long ball. Tyreek Hill's just coming back for it. You do it. He goes 50 yards, he'll come back for it. He'll come back 10 yards for it. Just throwing people off. But I'm going with Miami Dolphins.
He looks like the one friend that forgets his keys every time and comes running back in like, oh, never mind. Sorry about that. I just had to go back and get my keys. It's really ugly and beautiful simultaneously. This is, to me, one of the most impressive things this year is how well the Bears are playing in football games with the lack of talent they have and the fact that each week they're just like, hey, you know this cornerstone veteran leader we have? We're shipping him out of here. And on top of that, we're going to bring in somebody who has been described as like a locker room problem as the future for a second round, one of the picks. Like imagine trading away the value that Roquan Smith brings you to bring in Hall of Fame TikToker Chase Claypool. I look around and I'd be like, what are we doing here? Like, what's the plan? I would be confused. We talked about that on another show. I do think there's a chance in this game where the Bears could control this and keep it close by running the football. And if for some reason that they struggle to punch it in, if it's bad weather, if it's windy in Chicago, some of those deep balls might hang up a little bit longer. There might be a few more interceptions. I think it's closer than people think. I would have it somewhere around 27-23, 27-24. But I'm going to side with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I actually had set this as my game of the week this week because I think it is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch because the Bears have figured out what Justin Fields' greatest strength is. It's not throwing the ball down the field. It's not standing in the pocket and delivering passes like Tom Brady. It's getting him on the edges, getting him in situations where he's got a one-on-one with the linebacker in front of him, and he's going to make them miss because he is just the elite athlete on the football field. And I think they're going to do that in this game against the Dolphins. With all that being said, the Dolphins are the better football team and should win this game. And if the Dolphins are legit, they should win every game in a situation like this that they're facing.
Hey, I just want to say, Tony, before we move on, thank you for that dynasty trade that you made with me when I sent you the GOAT, Tom Brady, for Justin Fields.
Oh, that's going to come around. That's going to help me out this week. I know it. I feel it. What's up with this? Like Stephen Armstrong, did he win last week? 12-15? That's a good week.
12-3, yeah.
The person that won last week won with 14 wins and 1 loss.
Fake.
Yeah, we can agree, Harrison.
Very impressive. You probably changed his fan. Joe, can we agree that Raiders fans are smarter than
what? Harrison's just excited because Joe picked the Panthers last week and took an L. Just like I guaranteed, Harrison.
1 second, Harrison.
We'll have to bring Harrison on one time.
We are. Come on to this show, I think.
And we're gonna let him. You and Harrison are gonna have a battle, Tony.
I'm not battling him. He's gonna be our NFC expert correspondent.
Like right now, Harrison's probably looking at our graphics and he's looking at the Bengals and the Panthers, and he's probably pissed off at all 3 of us for it right now.
Harrison, I got a message from a Raiders fan on Friday at 8:26 p.m. Random person. Never met him before, talked to them, interacted with them in my life on the internet. Shout out to Steven Torres. That's what this person's name. But he said, fuck the charges. Not Chargers, the charges. And he spelled fuck with just one K.
Well, you got to admit that Raider fans have a lot of charges on them, so okay.
That makes sense.
Autocorrect.
That's what he's talking about. But then he went on to say, how many Super Bowls you guys have? ... In the same message, did not give me time to respond. That's what I thought. I didn't get a chance to respond.
That's what he thought.
Silence. He heard silence in his text message while he's writing it out. That's the smart Raiders fan you're talking about right now, Harrison.
The only thing they have is passion for losing. That's it. They have more passionate fans for losing. That's all the Raiders have more. They're not smarter. They're not better looking. They're not better in a debate. Nothing. They're passionate about losing, and there's more of them. That's it. Congratulations, Raiders fans.
That's why you became a Vikings fan, right, Joe? And
Anyways,
Harrison,
let's move on.
Harrison, guess what also? Thanks for your comment. I appreciate you tuning into this live show. The Panthers are getting stomped on Sunday.
Yes, they are.
They're getting
Did you guys see Baker Mayfield playing defensive end at practice?
He's running scout team?
Scout team defensive end.
I love it. That's a good team player, though, because you think you go from starting quarterback, he could pout, he could do whatever. Baker's going to land, he's going to be a spicy backup next year on some team. I don't know who it is, but he's going to go somewhere to like the Rams or like one of these, teams that needs a veteran backup, and it's going to be a spicy situation. The Panthers played really well and aggressive last week and fun to watch. That Atlanta Panthers game was one of my favorite games of the year. Lots of excellent execution. I don't see the Bengals at home not rebounding from that performance they had against the Browns. Like all the matchups I find in favor of the Bengals. I think there's even an opportunity where they might be able to get Joe Mixon going a little bit this week. Deonta Foreman's had back-to-back 118-yard games. I think that probably stops this weekend. It's not looking good for you, Harrison. Put your head down and enjoy that number one overall pick you guys are playing for, you and the Texans.
Congrats to the winner of that. Joe, any analysis to add?
No, not really. Tony hit it all on the head. Like, even with Jamar Chase out, the Bengals are still going to dominate this game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The Panthers had their little spark when the firing happened to Matt Rule. They're just going to go back to the team they are. Sorry, Harrison, just rack up the picks and rack up. Hey, go for that number one pick. If you're going to lose right. Be the best at losing.
Yeah, and it looked like they were wanting to lose last week, so let's just keep that theme going.
That was so brutal. That DJ Moore penalty, and then
missing the two kicks, not just one.
You know what I hate about the NFL is when they get a penalty wrong, like that DJ Moore one, and then they just come out and go, "Yeah, we apologize. It shouldn't have been a penalty, but it was." Like, you still lost the game. You're not gonna go back and change it. Like, thanks for the apology, I guess, asshole.
Also, too, like, allow them to celebrate. It's a game of extreme passion. He scores a potential game-winning touchdown like that, at the very minimum, game tying. Let the man take his helmet off. It's about FaceTime. Like, let's see what the guy looks like. Let him beat his chest a little bit. I'm a fan of celebrating.
Panthers, what happened?
Yeah. I'm sure that the referee union is strong and it's untouchable, but when are we going to start putting these refs to the fire of a microphone one day?
Oh, I'm all for that.
They need to explain some of these calls. They do. Some of these are pretty bad.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to start a new skit every Monday. Tony's going to dress up and as a referee, and he's going to explain the bad calls.
That's genius.
Every Sunday.
That's genius. You could play it like it is an actual press conference.
Yeah. Former head official. Yeah, I got you guys. Don't worry. Oh, man.
The Green Bay Packers are on the road against what seemed like never-winning Detroit Lions. Tony, me and you are smartly with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, even though they haven't been playing the best as of late. How confident are you in this pick, and how confident are you that the Joe is now going to be going on 7 losses on the Lions bandwagon?
So this is the kind of game where Aaron Rodgers this could be him retiring at the podium if he loses to the 1-7 or whatever Detroit Lions. I could see him just, with his little half mullet, whatever he's got going on with the haircut there, just pushing that hair constantly out of his eyes and just saying, like, I don't know, we've hit rock bottom. We have an issue. I don't know what's happening. I need more of the West Indian drink I had this summer to get out of this terrible, terrible nightmare I'm in of signing the most lucrative contract in NFL history to come back and be a 6-11 football team. This is one of those games where I want to pick the Lions. I'm going to root like crazy to be wrong about this. So crazy to be wrong. I just can't see it happening. There's nothing the Lions do that's like, oh, well, this week they'll put it all together. They fired Aubrey Pleasant. You think that was the reason that you guys couldn't defend anybody? This feels pretty easy to me.
I do want to say that I'm shocked by the Lions' performance this year. Did not see this coming at all. And I'm shocked that Green Bay needed a wide receiver. Why didn't the Lions just trade Amon-Ra St. Brown to the Packers?
They only help the Vikings, apparently.
They could have packaged Amon-Ra St. Brown and Malcolm Rodriguez, sent them to Green Bay.
Why? Green Bay already has a hurt wide receiver in Sammy Watkins.
Well, I'm just
You
saying.
don't need more. You don't need more injured. Anyways, remember when Aaron Rodgers in the offseason got that tattoo, and the tattoo had lions on there? And I told you that Aaron Rodgers is going to lose to the Lions 2 times this year. And that's what the tattoo symbolizes. The Detroit Lions. Tony, you already know the Green Bay defense isn't as good as everybody thought they would. Jamal Williams is going to come back, and he's going to let Green Bay know that they still screwed up years later after letting him go. Jamal Williams goes for 3 touchdowns this week.
Ooh.
If that happens, Joe, I want you to be dancing on next week's Pickems show. I'm with you, Tony. I think the Packers win this, and if they don't, it is time to pack it up.
Pack it up.
On to the next game here. You got Sam Ehlinger, Indianapolis Colts. No Jonathan Taylor, already ruled out. Going to New England to play in Foxborough. None of us are really giving the Colts a chance here. What do you guys think about this game real quick? I think we can probably get through this one a little quicker, huh?
I think Sam Ehlinger needs to throw the ball 20 times to Michael Pittman because I have him in some fantasy leagues. Other than that, I don't really care about the Colts, what they do, how everybody seems to be forgetting that this team had Andrew Luck and was like they went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, and somehow in the last 7 years or whatever, and even with Andrew, they didn't do enough to take care of him on the offensive line or whatever. This organization has drafted so well and had so many good players, and they have nothing to show for it in the win columns. So, like, just bad all around. They trade for Matt Ryan. That's just a horrible fire. I think the Patriots at home win this game pretty comfortably and pretty easily. Sam Ehlinger, a rookie in Foxborough, not a good combo.
No bueno. Joe going with the shitty New England Patriots?
Yeah, I'm going with them because, like I said, like Tony said, rookies don't do good. If Matt Ryan was playing, it might be something different, but he's not playing. And even I guess he hasn't been playing all year. And Jonathan Taylor's hurt. It's just a different Colts team that's not showing up. They just fired their offensive coordinator, even though he doesn't call the plays right. Right? That was them? They fired their offensive coordinator?
They did.
For some dumb reason. I just can't. I don't know. Like, Tony, you said Ehlinger needs to throw it to Michael Pittman. Did you not watch last week? He threw it right to Michael Pittman's hands at the end of the game, and Pittman dropped it.
Yeah, they had a chance.
Hey, watch it. I'm trying to trade Pittman.
They could have gotten.
Pittman is the greatest guy ever. If you're in Tony's league and you want Pittman, you take him.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think that the Patriots got him outmatched, and Mac Jones needs to have a good game. I think he has a good game here against a decent defense with the Indianapolis Colts. On to the next one. Damn, we're agreeing on a lot this week. No one wants to go with the Jets. Last week, we were getting roasted. Well, I was getting roasted on TikTok, and by proxy, y'all were getting roasted for taking the the Patriots to beat the Jets. Wait, did you take the Jets or the Patriots last week, Joe?
I took the Patriots.
Yeah, we were getting toasted for taking the Patriots, and the Jets did not show up. I personally think that Breece Hall was all of the Jets' offense in the beginning of the year and got them to this point. And now that he's gone, their offense stinks. Tony, you've also been pretty anti-Zach Wilson, maybe even more so than me.
It's not anti-Zach. Well, I'm not anti-anybody. I'm just watching the game, and there's nothing good to come out of it, right? So you can't be – it's like, what am I supposed to do? Get here and be like, oh, well, I believe there's something there. There's been nothing for us to really look at and say, oh, this is amazing play or whatever. I do think there is an opportunity we see Mike White in the second half of this football game. So I'm not expecting this game to be close. I think the offense is going to, he's going to look for some sort of juice when they're down by 17 at halftime, because the Bills, they played not so great in the second half of that game against the Packers. And I think they want to come out and be crisp and ready to go and firing on all cylinders. And that's bad news for this team because their offensive line is banged up. And as good as the Jets defense has played this year, they haven't played anybody like the Bills. They have not had to. Sauce Gardner has not had to try and lock up Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen delivering the football. Like, that to me is a fun matchup to see. But even if for some reason Sauce plays out of his mind, he's great. They still have Knox. They still have Davis and McKenzie and all the backfield. It just is a bad matchup for the Jets right now.
Yeah,
and I'm with you, and I'm with you guys. When Breece Hall went down, I thought the Jets went down too. Like, he made one or two big plays every game that set that tone for that offense and just killed the opposing defense. And it's nothing against Michael Carter or even James Robinson coming in. They just don't have that kind of speed on the offense to make up for it. Garrett Wilson's been playing good. He did great last week, but it was an losing effort. Like, the Jets are an up-and-coming team, just like we talked about the Bears are an up-and-coming team. They just don't have the it factor, and they're going against the top team in the AFC right now. Woo! Like, I agree with you, Tony. I've been hearing a lot of Diggs versus Sauce Gardner and what you think about it. If Sauce Gardner comes out and shuts down Diggs, defensive rookie of the year right there. But does he come out and do it? Hell no.
If he shuts down Diggs, now we're starting to
welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Rook.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to lock down Diggs, especially when, like you said, Diggs has a different level quarterback. It's not the same as shutting down a receiver with a different quarterback than Josh Allen. And the Bills just are better than them. And there are some conspiracies that the Bills were so night and day from the first and second half. There's some gambling conspiracies out there that they tanked that to keep the over-under down, or I think to keep the spread within a certain amount of points. Because it was so pivot. Josh Allen all of a sudden is throwing interceptions in the second half when they could not be stopped in the first half.
Baker going to the XFL.
I
hope that'd be fun.
I think Drew Lock should go to the XFL so I can wholeheartedly root for him in the XFL just to troll the Broncos fans for all that hate I did.
I think there's a bunch of talented players from the NFL that could go over there and make it watchable, right? Like Jalen Reagor, go over there and be a wide receiver one, and PJ Walker, Drew Lock, Baker Mayfield. All we need to do is know their names. That's it.
Yeah. Shout out to The Rock. If you're watching right now, there's 3 of us right here. We'll do any XFL shows that you need us to do. Just give us a call.
The Rock. Vikings.
Oof. We got the Vikings on the road here against the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are red hot, is what the Commander fans are telling me. I mean, technically, they're on a winning streak. No love for Taylor Heineke in this matchup, Tony?
No, and here's my theory. This is what's going to happen. Taylor Heineke is not going to play well in this game. He's going to have 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. He'll throw for some yards. It's not going to look pretty. The Vikings will still somehow manage to barely squeak this game out. But Heineke won't look good. And everybody will be saying, this is why he's not a guy. This is why he's not a franchise quarterback. This is why they should go back to Carson Wentz as soon as he's healthy. And then who's coming to town the weekend after that? The Eagles. The Eagles will be coming to town, and everybody will be saying 15-point victory for the Eagle. And my guy, Taylor Heineke, will play the game of his life. I'm guaranteeing it right now. I'm picking the Washington Commanders to beat the Eagles next week on next week's show. Just putting it out there now. As long as Heineke and Terry McLaurin make it through this game healthy and we have that connection, Heineke, this game is going to be a bit of a struggle. I think maybe they're feeling themselves a little bit.
Didn't the Washington Football Commander Maroon Red team end the Steelers like undefeated streak a couple of years ago and then sent that whole season awry for the Steelers?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they made the
Steelers.
playoffs because of that at 7-9. Didn't they win the NFC East?
Yeah, something like that. Are you saying that we get a repeat where they derail the Eagles season instead of the Steelers season?
I'm all about conspiracy theories for keeping Taylor Heineke in the news cycle. That's all I want.
I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings, right? I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings, the second best team in the NFL this season and every season. I told you guys how good the Vikings were going to be in the offseason. I told you they're going to go 14-3. I told you they were going to win this division. I said Kirk Cousins is amazing and one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and you guys laughed at me. And I'm just saying, I'm hyping up. What else I got to say? I was right about the Vikings. I'm still right about the Vikings. And that's the only thing I got right this season. I'm going to keep harping on it.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think you got one of the better teams in the league going against one of the worst teams in the league, but especially the mismatch of Zadarius Smith and Neil Hunter and these guys getting after the quarterback. I think they're going to destroy this Washington Commanders O-line and not going to give Taylor Heineke any time to get those big plays down the field to Terry McLaurin that they've been landing the last couple of weeks and finding some success.
The Amazon Commanders.
Go Vikes. They're the Washington Football Commando Maroon Red team.
Yeah.
Onto a division rivalry where the Seattle Seahawks are on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. Joe's fading the Cardinals. Me and Tony are taking the Cardinals. Tony, would you like to go first? He's back, and he did some math on there too. Make sure you get the records right.
This game, I wanted to pick the Seahawks. I still kind of want to pick the Seahawks. I'm going for this game where it's like, for whatever reason, one game, the Cardinals put it together, and if this is like their best game of the season. Just, I don't know why. It's we now got Hopkins back for a third week, and Rondell Moore's balling. I just think at home, this is their big game. Cameras are in the building for Hard Knocks, recording stuff. This is a chance for Kyler Murray to push back the haters a little bit and allow his ability to scramble, his unpredictability to be the one thing that throws the Seahawks defense, who in my estimation has been playing way better than I thought they would coming into this season. So at home, it's a good game. It's a close game. I think this is one of those. This is a late game, I believe, like a 125. There's only like 2 late games this week. I think this is one. I think this one's going to be the better late game.
Speaking of Kyler haters, Joe, take it away.
Kyler and Cliff are going at it head to head every damn game. They're yelling at each other. They had to get Hopkins to break them up one time. This relationship's not going to work out. Like Tony said, the Seahawks defense is playing a lot better. One, because they got rid of Ken Norton's dumbass, and he should have never been the defensive coordinator. And I forgot about that going into this season, how great that it was just to get rid of him on the defensive side. They have a rookie in Woolen who's doing a great job over there. Seattle's getting there. And let's just admit, Tony, even with DeAndre Hopkins posted on Twitter, "Oh, since I've been back, I'm not dead. I've caught this. I'm number one wide receiver in this, number one wide." And you know what I replied to him? He didn't reply back to me, but I replied to him and make me feel good. I said, how's your team doing, DeAndre? Nobody cares about personal stats. How's your team doing? Because they suck, even with you as the number one wide receiver. Anyway.
They're 1-1. They're 1-1 since D-Hop has come back.
1-1. They ain't undefeated, though. Ain't number one, right?
I think that the Cardinals take care of business also. It's also just really hard to beat a division rival like that twice in one season and twice in basically a month. They played like 3 weeks ago in Seattle. I'm going with the Cardinals. I've been picking the Cardinals, and they've been disappointing me for the most part this year. I think this is the week they come through. If not, I'll fade the Cardinals with you, Joe. I'm pretty
Just
confident.
say, in Geno, we trust, Tony.
In
In
Kyler,
Geno, we trust.
in Kyler, we trust. Kyler, we trust. Geno can have a good game in a loss. I'm just saying. It can happen. All right, we got
Like,
two
you're supposed to
teams.
hide my graphic and not show my belly. Like, you're supposed to treat me like a pregnant lady and hide me behind people.
That's not typically how I treat pregnant women, but maybe I'll try that strategy sometime. We got two teams on their heels, on their backs against the wall a little bit. The Rams on the road against the Bucks. None of us going with the defending Super Bowl champs. Tony, explain to them why Tampa Bay is going to reign here.
I think the Bucks defense is going to show up and have a real nice game here, and partly because Cooper Kupp is going to come in hobbled. Like, even if he plays in this game, if he doesn't play in this game, I think the Bucks win by 10 points. But I do think it'll be a little bit easier to kind of control him, limit his, a lot of the yak plays, a lot of the big stuff that he does there. And then they're relying on who? Skoranek, Allen Robinson. It's just, I don't think there's enough there for them to go to Tampa, who's also getting healthier. I think they're getting back some guys in the secondary, maybe Winfield, which helps facilitate that. And the Rams are just in a weird situation where, like, they're disagreeing with Cam Akers. So what? So that they can play these other players who haven't done anything. Like, Cam Akers has had success in the league. Why aren't you trying to find ways to figure it out with him? Like, maybe that's part of the reason that nobody wanted to trade for him, was because he was so fed up with how things were going there. He went home. Like, that's not somebody people want to give up draft picks for. So, like, you tanked his value if he had any left after the injury. Something doesn't feel right. I wish that I would have put the Rams at a lower win prediction for this year. Tommy's going to get it right before he hops on that plane to Germany.
And people have been asking me, they're like, why are you picking the Bucks over the Rams? And this is what it came down to me. Both of them are having offensive line issues, but the Rams are having horrible offensive line issues, like really, really bad. And I'm looking at the Bucks defense, and even if they haven't played up to their standard of what we think the Bucks defense has been, that defensive line has still been a little bit of wreck. They've still been getting in there and doing their job. And so I just think that they're going to tear Matthew Stafford apart this week and just keep keep going at him. And if, like Tony said, even if Cooper Kupp is in there, the Rams still are the worst team in this matchup. And the Rams defense has taken a big, giant step back. Even like every once in a while, you'll see a good series from them, and you're like, oh, that's the Rams defense that I'm used to. And the next series, the team goes 3 plays, 75 yards, and you're like, wait, what the hell is this? What kind of Rams defense is this? I don't know. I just think this is what you get when you sacrifice every draft pick for the last 7 years, and you let most of these guys, and you pay some of your big guys, and you let some of these smaller free agents walk. This is the year that you get from the Rams. Sorry, guys. They're just going to suck it up this year.
Yeah, they knew that this day was coming one day. They probably didn't expect it to be so soon. They probably didn't expect it to be in the Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford era, honestly. But, yeah, it is pretty wild to see both these teams, how much they're struggling. I think that the biggest thing is the offensive line also, Joe. The Rams' offensive line, like the Bucs' offensive line is struggling. We're seeing plays where it's like, holy shit, what was that? But they hold up to still have a functioning offense. When you go and look at what's going on in LA right now, they can't even really function that offense. Like, they cannot put together a drive's worth of consecutive plays without an offensive holding penalty or an offensive lineman just getting blown up or a false start that derails every single drive, it feels like. So I'm going to go with the team that at least is a little bit more organized, a little bit more put together on that front. Go Bucks. On to this one. Everyone's on the Chargers. Joe, you heard about all the injuries, right? And Tony, don't you dare say it. That was a joke that you said earlier, right?
No, I didn't. I did it. I switched. It's not a joke. It's 100% switch, Mike.
Tony is switching to the Falcons. And the Falcons have been playing good football. They've knocked off the almighty 49ers. Did you guys know that? The Falcons knocked off the best team in the NFL, according to most of these people that come out and bullshit us. The 49er fans got knocked off by the Falcons. So you don't think the Chargers can get knocked off by the Falcons, Mike?
I think they can. I just don't think they will because of that number right there behind you. Tony, look at Justin Herbert in the eyes and tell him behind you, hey, you're going to lose to the freaking Falcons. You're going to lose to Marcus Mariota this week, fellow Oregon Duck. Quack,
Justin,
quack.
Don't take this personally. It's not your fault.
I'm taking it personally.
Quack, 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 Mr. Duckworth.
Mike, tell me why I'm supposed to have belief that they're going to go on the road and win a football game where we haven't seen anything changed. They're not throwing the football down the field. They can't stop the run. So you have a team that's 32nd against stopping the pass. But you know how you stop the pass? When the offensive coordinator only calls routes that go within 8 to 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's a great way to stop Justin Herbert. And I have no faith that Joe Lombardi, who's still the offensive coordinator, is going to do the right thing and move the ball downfield to whoever it is, using the seam to Everett, throwing deep balls to Jason Moore. I don't care. Josh Palmer. At least show the threat of it happening there. Then, as soon as the injury news came through that there's something going on with Austin Eckler, I was like, it's it. I'm done. I'm not going to do this to myself where I'm going to take the emotional L, and then I'm also going to take the L in the standings. I will not do that to myself against the Falcons on the road. I think Tyler Algier is going to have a case to be a name of a rookie, and even if he doesn't, Caleb Huntley is also another big, strong rookie running back. This makes me extremely sad. I'm not happy about this. I just think the Falcons are going to win the game, and it's going to depress the shit out of me.
I'm pretty sure Johnny is a Falcons fan, isn't he?
Yeah.
We got a Falcons fan saying the Chargers are going to win. We got a Chargers fan saying the Falcons. Tony, you took the Raiders on the road last week. You had no problem then?
He's saying the Chargers should win. I agree. The Chargers should win the game, Mike. But
you just don't think they will.
Is this a 10 a.m. game?
Yes.
There's no evidence. There's zero evidence that they're going to do something different on offense than what they've done, and that helps the Falcons in this football game.
Joe, tell them why you're taking the Chargers.
I don't know why I'm taking the Chargers. I just am. They're the better team. But Tony just convinced me to move over, I guess. I'm like, damn, Tony, you're trying to get me to move over. There's no reason to take the Chargers in this matchup. They both basically.
Why am I wearing this red shirt?
The Chargers. Look, Mike. The Chargers themselves have considered themselves dead for some reason. Their public relation team brought out a video saying that they're the Undertaker and they're coming from the dead or something like that. The own team is already claiming that they're done.
I'm going to stick with my pick. You guys can choose the Falcons all you want. Justin Herbert, no matter his receivers, has been a phenom on the road in his career so far. And despite Joe Lombardi's lack of creativity in the offense, he's going to be a phenom again. And we're going to win this game 30-28, just like we did in Cleveland or just like we did in Houston. We're going to do it.
Cordell Patterson's back.
Let's talk about a much better team. I'm thinking about just changing this pick out of spite at this point. I'm going with the Raiders. The Raiders on the road in Jacksonville. Tony, we're getting to a point now where you are like 4 weeks removed from swearing you'll never take the Raiders again, and I think you've lost all the Raiders picks since then.
No, I got the Texans one.
You did get the Texans one. That is true.
Yeah. And I picked them last week against the Saints, and I still the Saints are pissing me off because they should win the South, no problem. With Brady and the Bucs playing this bad, the Saints should not be in the position that they're in. They are. That's another argument and validation for later in the show. I think that this is going to be a good game for the Raiders based on the fact of like they're coming off getting shut out and getting the shit kicked out of them. I think that Josh McDaniels is a good coach and will find ways to simplify it to where Devontae Adams isn't going to have one catch for 3 yards. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Henner Renfro. I think he's just non-existent. I don't even know why they paid him at this point. But I do believe that they will focus more on the run game in this one, which they abandoned for some reason against the Saints on the road. That will not be the case. The team will be dialed in. It'll be an ugly win for the Raiders, 29-24, something like that, on a late interception by Trevor Lawrence, or a strip sack fumble Max Crosby style or something like that.
Max Crosby style. Don't give him any more catch phrases, Tony, please.
I thought we were picking which team was going to cross the 50-yard line first, and I was going to be like, oh, finally the Raiders do it. Like last week was horrible, and it's Derek Carr's worst game in his Raider history. It's one of the worst games that the Raider fans have seen in years since the Jamarcus Russell era. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, to not cross midfield until 2 minutes left in the game with your backup quarterback and the other team's second string on the field is straight embarrassing, especially, going down there against a team that was New Orleans. So what happened is the Raiders stayed on the East Coast. They've been on the East Coast all week. What they're claiming is last week everybody was sick and they missed all practice. Whatever. I don't give a damn what your excuse was. You're an NFL team. You go out there and you play hard. So I do think that they're going to have to come out there and prove themselves a little bit this week. And what I want to see from Josh McDaniels is him adopt to his players a little bit. And like you said, listen to Devontae Adams. Get him some more touches and stuff. Oh, my God. But I am a little bit afraid of Travis Etienne because Travis Etienne is a stud and he's on my fantasy team, so I do need some points from him. I don't need the Raiders to completely shut him out, but I think the Raiders come out and they try a couple different things, and they just like Josh McDaniels. The Raiders were running the ball, but he made it so complicated last week. It's 3rd and 2. You don't need to do a damn jet sweep with Devontae Adams. He's not Debo fucking Samuels. He's Devontae Adams. He's a route runner. He's not a runner. Hand the damn ball off, and don't try to be that smart guy. Run the plays that you know that's going to work. Don't try to outsmart the opponents. And I think that's what Josh McDaniels has a problem doing, is he thinks he's too smart and he outsmarts him damn self.
Yeah, I guess Josh Jacobs was doing too well. Like, this contract price is going up. We need to have a couple bad games in a row because they went from him going for 200 yards every week to nothing, not even giving him the rock no more. But, yeah, I think the Raiders do focus, lock in. A loss like that can get a team with a lot of talent like this to really focus on the week and attack the week and have a good week of practice. And when you go against a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Raiders have way more talent and are a way better team than the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got mismatches in the secondary all over the place with Hunter Renfro and Devontae Adams and even Mac Hollins, honestly. And I think that the Jaguars stay in this game, and then in the 3rd and 4th quarter, the Raiders pull away to get the victory.
And if they don't, woo!
I will be happy still, regardless. They win, they lose, I'll be happy either way, it seems like this week. On to Titans on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this game will be an interesting and fun game to watch, but we all agree that the Chiefs are probably going to win this one. Tony, any thoughts of taking Derrick Henry, who is finding his stride right now?
No, I don't even think this game is going to be close or entertaining. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game by a couple of scores. Last year when they had AJ Brown and there was other things to distract the Chiefs. I think they beat the Chiefs last year or the year before or something like that. Maybe even the past couple years they've had their number. I don't see that being the case here. I think the Chiefs get this game pretty easily, 10 to 14 point victory. Because the secondary, I don't know how you're going to be able to keep up with everybody. And then they're going to be incorporating Kadarius Toney, who we're going to get to see some glimpses of, but now we've started to see him click with Hardman and MVS and Juju, and eventually Sky Moore is going to get woven in there, and Travis Kelce. There's just too much going on for the Chiefs, and we forget the Titans were 0-2 not too long ago, and they've won 5 in a row. And not to mention, they have not been impressed. It's not like there have been a impressive 5 wins in a row. They're going against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. This is a bad time to catch them.
But what happened, Tony? Why were they 0-2? Because they weren't getting that ball to Derrick Henry. And like Johnny said, the blueprint to beat the Chiefs is to pound the ball, keep the offense off the field. You can keep the offense off the field, you do a great job, but you got to keep up the Chiefs' offense off the field, and you got to put up touchdowns. You can't kick field goals in the game. I think the Titans won 27-3 last year in this matchup.
I hope they do it again.
I hope they do it again too. Do I see it happening? No. I think Malik Willis is starting again, right, over Tannehill. Tannehill's still not 100%. So I think you're going to have that little rookie mistakes here and there. But like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I'll take the L all day in this matchup. I'll take the L all day, but I'm not going to go and switch to the Titans. I'm not that positive on it.
Yeah, the Titans have a tall order here. They do have the run game to keep the ball out of KC's hands, and that's why I think this game will be close into the later parts of the game. KC may take off at some point if they get some big plays going. But really what I'm taking the Chiefs on is that the Titans, when they do have to step back and throw the ball, they don't really have anyone to feed. They don't really have anyone that's going to take care of the rookie quarterback. And the Chiefs' secondary is not great, but they're getting a little healthier. You can see that they're making some moves. They move on from Rashad Fenton. They're going to the younger guys that has a little bit more juice. I just think that they're going to play a decent game in the secondary. And Tennessee is going to run the ball well, of course. They're the Tennessee Titans. But it's not going to be able to put up enough points as what you're going to need and what's required to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. It's just not going to be enough. It's going to be one of those games where it's maybe 17-14 going into half, and all of a sudden the Chiefs take off in the third and fourth quarter, as we've seen them do so many times. If the Titans can force a mistake or two and keep possession, there's a chance. On to the final game of the week, and this one's interesting because the Ravens on the road in New Orleans, they've been kind of up and down on these road trips on prime time, and the Ravens has been a weird team this year. They got Roquan Smith, obviously, this week, who's ready and is going to play in this game. Tony, was there any thoughts? What do you think about this game?
I was real close to taking the Saints. TDs in the building. I was very, very close. I want to believe that the Saints are the team that I picked to win this division at the beginning of the year. Like what we saw them do. And then I go, well, they were playing the Raiders. And the Raiders are an average team right now, right? Like that's them. That's the Raiders playing good football. They're just an average team in the NFL. So to beat them down the way they did, it's not that impressive. We know that they're not going to, even without Mark Andrews potentially in this game or a limited Mark, they're still going to find ways to just run the football with Lamar Jackson and let him do his thing. If Gus Edwards is healthy, that'll be helpful. But I think we saw enough from Isaiah Likely, Devin Duvernay. They're still going to find ways to get points, and they're re-energized. You get somebody we're getting Roquan Smith added to this defense, which is nice. It's a helpful piece. It's we got reinforcements coming. The defense for the Ravens has started to play better. I want to pick the Saints. I just don't see it. I think the game could be close, but in no way am I the Saints are going to repeat their performance from last week.
No, I don't think the Saints play like they did last week either. And Baltimore's defense is a little bit better. Come on, is better. And they're not going to leave Alvin Kamara wide open and go, oh, yeah, he can catch out of the backfield. We didn't know that. We didn't know that AK-41 knows how to catch out of the backfield. So, yeah, Baltimore is going to come out ready to prepare. Hey, and you know who's playing, Tony? Deshaun Jackson. He's back for the Baltimore Ravens. So, yeah, you didn't know they signed him?
I did. Yeah.
Welcome back, D-Jax. And the Ravens kind of need him now. Rashad Bateman out for the year, and that's the guy they would kind of use to stretch the field. They got Devin Duvernay as well. I think that this Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen versus Alvin Kamara matchup is the key matchup. Alvin Kamara was all of the Saints offense last week. I don't know how you can be a professional defensive coordinator with a bunch of professional football players playing for you, and you let one player do the same thing all game long for an entire game and destroy you and have 3 touchdowns and 200 yards. I don't know how that you don't at least go, we're not going to let 41 do it. Let's maybe make them throw to 12 or someone else. But no, they can't do it. I think that Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen do a good job in Alvin Kamara, and we see that addition pay dividends for the Ravens in his first game as a Raven. Maybe he gets a game ball in the locker room. He can get enough tackles racked up on AK. Roquan Smith's leading the league in tackles right now. Leading the league in tackles. I love it.
I said it on the show earlier. I can't understand how Roquan Smith is not a Bear. Doesn't make any sense.
The Bears.
Let's look at TD's fantasy question here, because the Dynasty one. I think it's actually kind of an interesting, because I don't want Elijah Moore at all. Like, if this person has anything other than Elijah Moore, like, I don't know.
Basically, ETN for Eckler, and he's in a dynasty league, so he's gonna have Kenneth Walker, Pierce, and ETN for the next.
Yeah, I'd keep your team.
I actually have Kenneth Walker and ETN in our dynasty league, and it's going good. I'm middle of the pack, but that's not why. I'm middle of the pack because my quarterback situation is terrible.
Who's in first in that league?
Get the fuck out of here.
I wish I had a name on the back of my jersey right now. It's like a point at it.
I was at first, but I got so bored. I was like, let me try to just back up a little bit. I want to fight from the stand.
Shit, I would definitely take this then. If you're telling me that you get Etienne and Garrett Wilson.
Oh yeah, you better. What the hell? Why haven't you hit accept yet, CD? If it's Garrett Wilson and Etienne, you better hit accept right now.
Oh, he's getting Etienne. I thought he was on the Etienne side. No, you want the Etienne side of this for the future of your dynasty team. Etienne and Eckler are probably going to put up similar fantasy points the rest of the year the way Etienne's playing. And when you look at the volume and the workload on Eckler versus Etienne, Eckler has about 3 running back lifetimes of workload on his shoulders already.
Exactly. And
Johnny, I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, like, just based on if you've had Eckler for a few years last year and what he's done for you this year, this is as good as it gets, right? Like, there's not going to be a better time to trade. And Etienne's value might be just starting to peak at where it's at, where like he might rattle off 7-8 weeks in a row of top 5 fantasy weeks every week where he's carrying your team. I always want, if I can trade for a number 1 running back who's younger, that's what I want to do.
And especially already having Walker and Pierce, like, you feel really safe with your running backs already. Like, this is kind of like a cherry on top type deal. This is a good team, TDs. Keep rocking with it. All right, I think that's everything. Dynasty League conversation.
I don't know why Johnny is wanting me to take Madison for $20 in Fab. Like, one, I don't spend Fab anyway, so Fab means absolutely shit to me. And Madison is nothing. Like, come on, Johnny.
What is he? And I don't understand what he wants us to talk about. You never put a question in here. The reason we're talking about Dynasty is because there was a question posed about Dynasty.
Johnny wants you to kiss his ass and be like, he's undefeated. Give Johnny his props. He's doing everything that he's supposed to be doing, and he might win the league, but that's what Johnny wants from you, Tony. He wants you to talk about how great he is.
Well, I was tuned into his live the other night. He was playing Scrabble or Wordle or one of those games, and I just put in there, can we talk about the fantasy league? Arthritis with Johnny Unitas? And he said, of course we can. And he just started talking about how good his team is.
I love it. That's great. That's what you got to do. You gotta get on your own, or you got to come up with a question or something, or talk fantasy. If you want to just say, I want my weekly shout out, that you just say, Johnny Talk Sports is everyone's daddy. Clip that out. That's your ringtone right there.
Mike, do you know what Johnny's team is?
What is it?
Like, let's just talk about it right now. He has Patrick Mahomes, Stevenson, Etienne, Hopkins, Diggs, Mike Evans, Higbee, Lazard, Prater, and Buffalo defense. He has Kirk Cousins, Henderson, Madison, Benjamin, and Najee Harris on the bench.
And you don't want to give him 20 fab for Madison. Come on.
And I don't want to give him 20 fab for Madison.
Come on, Joe. Get it together. Give him the fab. Get Madison over.
Wait, he wants you to trade. He wants you to trade fab for Madison. Like he just wants 20. He wants 20 free agency dollars for Madison. Is that the trade he wants?
And he wants you to apologize for all the shit talking that you did in the preseason, Tony, because he is 8-0, and he wants you to apologize to him right here on the air, right now, Tony.
I'm not apologizing for shit for anything.
Oh,
I'm in second place. I'm doing just fine. We still got to make it through the playoffs. And on top of it, go look at points against. If we really want to get into it, Joe, look at the points against that he has in that league.
He has 948 against them.
And how many points for does he have?
1,194.
And how many points for do I have?
1,160.
So a 30-point difference, and he has 8 more wins than me.
And you've had 100 plus more points scored against you.
You're
that's funny how that happens.
You're 0-8?
No. I'm in second place.
Tony's 5-3.
I thought you said 8 more wins, like as in he has 8 wins and you have 0.
No. He has 3 more. He has 8 wins. He's 8-0, and he's got like the lowest amount of points scored against him. And he just is like, we got to get to the playoffs when you got to play the best teams every week to get to the end. And we'll see. He did beat me this year. I think we have one more regular season matchup coming up. Johnny Talk Sports is right now the best fantasy footballer in that league. Better than anybody in the other league or in our league. He's number 1. Did we talk about it enough? That's what I want to know.
I feel like that's enough.
Look, and here's my thing. Johnny derailed my season a little bit. I was 3-1. He was 4-0. Since I lost to him, I don't think I won a game, or I don't know, something like that. I've been on a downhill spiral, but I need to pay attention more. Not my. I forget to check it sometimes, but
the Raiders make me a little stressed out. That's why they're distracted.
I just made a trade with my homie Tony. Me and Tony made a trade in the league last week. I hooked my guy up because he needed a quarterback, and I go, "Hey, Tony, here's Jalen Hurts. Why not?"
Wow, how nice of you. I wish I'd someone in my league that was so nice. I don't want to talk about my leagues because this is the best fantasy season I've ever had in my life. And last year, I had the best fantasy season I ever had in my life. I started talking about it. I jinxed all my teams, every single one of them. So this year, I'm just going to stay quiet. My 8 6-win teams are going to all win their championships. There we go.
I have no 6-win teams, and I'm having the worst year I have ever had in fantasy. And it is all due to like 4 players that I overdrafted.
Cole
Kmet, Cam Akers, Allen Robinson, and DJ Moore. DJ Moore has been really good the last 2 weeks, but the first 6 weeks of the season wasn't cooking for me.
Garbage. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's really the only guy that screwed me this year in a couple of leagues.
Yeah. And if we're being honest, Herbert hasn't really helped me out.
That's true. Yep. He hasn't been helping me out either. I have him in the Dynasty League, and he's like my weak link right now. Anyways, I think we got it. We covered all of it for week 9. We even gave some fantasy advice, got some extra content out of us. We'll see you guys next week for the Pickems Challenge. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so we can be here for every live stream. I believe our next one's going to be the Fantasy Football Wake-Up Call Sunday morning. We'll be answering starts and sits. We'll be talking about Johnny's path to 9-0 in the league. Wake up! And we'll see you guys there. Anything to add before I hit the button?
Johnny Talk Sports is everyone's daddy.
Yeah.
Joe, I'm sure you'll say something in the post credits.
Johnny Talk Sports is the GOAT. Tony, kiss his ass right now.